Hi guys, and welcome back to my shop. Today we're going to be dyeing some plastic lens covers for the 052 owl. As you can see, I've already done one here, the red one. Let me show you that. Turned out pretty good, pretty happy with it. I'm going to set it aside so it doesn't get messed up. And we're going to dye this other guy green. Okay. So, a couple of things before we get started. First of all, this is a very messy process. So do not do this on the kitchen counter unless you want to sleep out in the garage. Um, you want to do this in your workshop or outside, if just someplace where if some dye gets on something, it's not going to hurt anything. I use several layers of paper towels so the dye will not seep through to my pad. Also, I use surgical gloves or latex gloves so I don't get it on my hands. I also wear clothes that are not worth, not a problem if I get some dye on them. Do not wear any nice clothes if you plan on using this dye. And if you have a shop apron, you probably want to put that on too. Wouldn't hurt. Okay, so let's get started. Couple of things here. I'm using a product called iDye Poly. And this is a dye specifically for plastics and polyesters. So it is absorbed, unlike RIT dye, which is a cloth dye. And does not work well with the plastics we use here. So I guess we need to get started. I got two jars here. One will be for my dye, and the other will be to rinse the part off. So I have, let's take the lids off here. So I have a thermos here with hot water. This is not boiling water. This is just hot water. And we're going to put about 2 inches of water in this one. As you can see, not much. Doesn't take much. And this guy, we're going to probably come close to filling up because we want it to get all the dye off of the part. Okay, this water again is hot water. It is not boiling. You do not want it boiling because if it's boiling, it will melt the plastic part. A couple of components here. Let me open the package of the green dye. And we actually have the actual dye pack. We're going to use about half of this. And then we have what's called this is left over from the red, so I'm going to use it, the color intensifier. And you have to put this in or it doesn't work. One little side note while I'm thinking about it. My lens covers came from this sheet from Parkflyer Plastics. You see where I cut them out. But they have all kinds of little inlets and fairings and lens covers. These are not very expensive, so check it out. Good to keep a couple of them around the shop for different uses when you need them. That's Parkflyer Plastics, and we'll link that down below in the description section of the YouTube video. Okay, so we've got our water in here. You see where I had dyed a little bit of red, so let's pour that in there. Pour the extra out. I'm going to put some more in there. We don't want another red lens. So I'm going to fill that up about 2 inches with hot water. Okay, then I'm going to take my scissors and I am going to very, very carefully cut a corner of this dye packet, okay? And then I'm simply going to pour about half of this packet into here. A little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, basically you want the dye to look like mud. You don't want it to be translucent at all. That's about right. And then I'm going to take these tweezers, these old tweezers I have, and I'm just going to stir all this up. Get it mixed up good. And it should look like paint. It shouldn't look like watery dye, okay? Let me show this to you as soon as I get it all mixed up. Still a few little flakes in there I didn't get. Okay, so as you can see, it's green. Okay. Then we're going to add just a little bit of the color intensifier. And we're going to mix that in where it's mixed up with the dye. And this, what this does is this helps it break through the boundary of the plastic. Okay. So let me grab a paper towel to wipe this dye off my glove. Okay, so I'm going to take and rinse this tweezers off, wipe them off a little bit, and we're going to flip over this guy, okay? And I'm going to put him in there, plunge him around a little bit, and I'm just going to let him kind of sit in there for a few minutes. And we'll come back and check on him. Until then, I guess you could check the links out on this video. But I'm going to stop the recorder, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, gents, we're back, and this has been soaking about 5 minutes. Now, one thing you want to realize is that different colors will look a little bit different. So the darker colors, like this dark green that are very dark, will end up looking darker, but once light is put to them, they'll be okay. Let's rinse it off. And look at there. We got us a green lens. Let's put some light to it. There we go. Look at that. How about that? So we're going to let that dry and cool off a little bit, and we'll put the red one over here by it so you can see that. And there you go. That's how you dye lens. Nothing special, just a little work. Just some things to remember. You want to use hot water, not boiling water, or you'll melt the plastic. Obviously, don't use glasses. Use old jars to do this process. Be sure and wear gloves, wear an apron and old clothes, because you will get it on you. I don't care how careful you are. And be sure and do this in an area where if you spill some, it's not going to be a disaster. That's all I got, guys. So if you have any questions, be sure and check out my thread on RCSB. It's under the Scratch Builds forum, and the thread is titled 052 OWL Challenge Accepted. I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, and hope you found this helpful. We'll be back with some more videos, obviously, as I work on the bird. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch up with you later.